that's amazing, a name worth praising. Your love leaves me gazing, it's incredible. The price that you paid, the sacrifices that you made, all for my soul to save. All I can say is incredible. 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 All I can say is incredible. How you make me feel, let me know you're real. Incredible. All I can say is incredible.
Hi, and welcome to Life from Studio D.O.C. I am the host of the show, Dr. Honeycutt, and I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us tonight. And to my right, I have my lovely co-host, Lisa McIntyre Shaw. How are you doing?
I'm doing incredible. How about you?
I'm doing incredible too. But tell me why you're doing incredible.
Doing incredible because we have a great show tonight. We have a fun guest who's going to talk about social media, the internet, LinkedIn, all those things. We're going to learn something.
Yeah, so, I guess you felt that it was a need to talk about those things.
There is a need.
So are you throwing shade?
I am. I'm throwing just a little bit because you have an awesome message, and I think we can all learn from what our guest has to tell us.
Well, which is why we're not going to string our audience along.
Nope.
We're going to get Miss Gisela Clark in here and introduce her. How are you doing tonight,
Excellent,
Gisela?
thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
I appreciate you having me tonight.
So can you tell us just a little bit about who Gisela is?
Well, my name German. I have a European background, and I have a background in international marketing. Spent 5 years living and working abroad, and eventually came back to America. And so I have a lot of international in my blood. But having young children, I decided to take a step back and work and continue to work part-time, but try to find something that I could do that would still engage me. So I got a little bit into training, which I really enjoyed, and started to see a lot of excellent content being shared that we were pulling together. And I thought, this is some good stuff. We should do something with it. And that's kind of what brought me to blogging and social media and why I'm here today.
So can you tell us what's the most common social networking that you deal with?
I would say probably one of the most common, maybe most important for everybody in the audience is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is not like Facebook where it's more social. It's a very professional network. People aren't posting updates that they had ice cream with their kids. They're posting updates about job changes, maybe some good information they want to share. Most importantly, it's they're trying to share who they're connected to. So like I put a request to you today. Hopefully you'll accept it. And then all of a sudden I have access to your network and you have access to mine. I can see who you're connected to. And let's say there's someone in my field that you might know. It'll show us we have someone in common. So there's just a lot of benefit to the extended networking that you can have. And again, I'm repeating, it's very professional. There's good stuff to be had there.
So tell us, before we started, as we were getting to know each other a little bit better, you mentioned that there are 6 different social networking tools that you use.
Yes.
What are the most common, and what differentiates Facebook? Like you were saying, Facebook is, here I am having fun, versus LinkedIn is here I am professionally. So talk a little bit more about the differences between the different tools and what's the best way to maybe utilize them.
Okay. The best way to describe it is to look at what you're trying to achieve and your audience, who you're trying to target. Because the different channels, which channel you would choose to be active on is dependent on those 2 things. So I'm going to give 2 examples. I'm going to give the example that I am a maker of jewelry, handmade jewelry, and I would like to get on social media. So my first step would be to get on LinkedIn and put my profile on there, what I've done, my background, because if someone wants to meet me, they might go there first to see who I am. Is she credible? Who does she know? Does she have a follower, community of people?
With a good picture.
With a good picture. That's something I'm going to talk about later today as well.
Good.
So starting with that, I'd say, well, I'm jewelry. So how do you sell jewelry? Do you sell it? Maybe I have a website, but I'm trying to drive traffic to my website. So I'd say, well, I would think photo sharing. So I think Facebook, Instagram. Those would be my 2 picks. because those are very photo-specific websites. And although I mentioned Facebook being very, more personal, it is, but there's also a very good, effective professional side to it where you can have a fan page. So I would go on Instagram and Facebook. Now, with jewelry, I'm thinking women. I'm thinking ages anywhere from probably teenagers, depending, all the way up through moms and maybe grandmothers. So, Facebook scans kind of the older, I would say college graduates on up.
Did you know that?
When I say older, I have a 12-year-old who's on Instagram. And I think Instagram is a much younger, I'm on Instagram too, but I feel like the younger community has really embraced it.
Millennials.
See, and that's
younger.
what I was going to ask. At
Yes.
what age do you think is appropriate for children to be on social network?
That is a very good
Oh,
question.
and I know Gisela wants to get to that because she has
Yes.
some contacts, some very good thoughts on.
Yes.
So we can skip to that and we'll come back. Go right ahead.
Okay, I'll love to talk about that. I have a 12-year-old, and I've done a lot of research on this. And this is how children communicate. It's not about emailing, like we do. It's all on the social networking. So if you deprive your child, now I'm not saying that everybody has to do this. Everybody has to make that decision for their child. But I feel like it's a good venue because that's how kids are communicating. And if you want your child to be engaged with kids at school in a positive way, then Instagram is a safe place to do it. However, private is very important, and reminding them of the fact that anything they post can be found. So just because they post it and delete it and they're private doesn't mean other people don't see it.
Oh, that's important.
But rule
Post
number one
and
is,
delete, somebody can still find it.
because in the time it was posted, it was archived. It was indexed on Google. And it's crazy. And even though it's private, it already kind of sets you back. But I have to share a story. So in the Fort Mill School District, where I am active with my kids, there is an FBI agent that goes around teaching parents and kids. And I love it. When I left that meeting, I left with two important things. And in my training that I do at my company and to others, I always leave it with these two things. 2 rules for your children. Well, Instagram, I feel, is a safe network for a 12 plus or 13 plus, that age group. But it's got to be private, and as a parent, you have to have an account watching what your child is posting. My daughter posted something one day, and I said, just think about this. And she's like, Mom, you're right. That's a good point. And so it's a matter of really getting them to think about what they're saying, how they're saying it, because it's permanent. And it's teaching them, I think, how to communicate on networks at a young age. But again, you have to be watching. Parents have to be engaged. They might say, well, I'm not interested, but at the end of the day, you need to be. You're the
Do you
parent.
make your child give you your password?
Yes. That's a requirement.
Got it.
And I can take the phone at any time. We even have a contract that was recommended about term, like 9 o'clock, everything's away. No one's on technology after 9 o'clock. It's never in their bedroom. I did research before I let my daughter even get this Instagram account, and even very high-level executives, of leading web-based internet companies have very strict rules for their children. So, I'm not alone. They all have concerns.
But you have the power. If you have the power
Yes.
over their communication, used to be when we were children,
Yes.
it was the car keys.
Right.
Mom and Dad could take the car keys away. Now it's communication.
It's the phone.
And somewhere in there was TV. Remember, no TV for a week, you thought you were going to die.
Yes.
Now, young people,
Yes.
without connectivity,
Yes.
that's a huge power tool
Yes.
But it's
for
so
a parent.
important for the parents to use those tools
That's right.
because, I think some of them get a little slack. They'll be like,
Sure.
I'm going to monitor it all the time. And,
And they don't.
Get away, and then
it's
the
like
trouble
if you
starts.
really want to pay attention, it's maybe once a day at the end of the night when your child goes to bed. But on average, maybe once a week, depending. But the 2 tips the FBI agent gave us as parents and kids can benefit everybody, not just your children, but you. First off, don't connect with people you don't know, and this is vital for kids. He says after he teaches the kids, they all run away and they grab their phones and they unfriend everybody they don't know. Because that's something they think it's cool. Well, so-and-so knows someone and so-and-so knows someone and they're a 13-year-old boy and I'm a boy or girl, whatever, but you haven't met them. So I tell my daughter and her friends, don't connect with anyone you have not physically met because you don't know who they are. They could be a facade.
So that's not true, though, for your professional things.
Well, professional, I still live by that rule in a little broader sense. I have people that send requests. And my rule is if I haven't met them, if I haven't spoken to them, if they haven't participated in an event that we've held, or they're not in my community, like in our industry. And
if you can't legitimize the connection.
If I can't legitimize the connection, or they haven't taken the time to write me and say how they met me, how they know me, how they, you know, I won't connect.
I guess my phobia is I see so much bad, like with the children, bullying.
Yeah.
Or, you know, back and forth, being mean to each other. And that's where it all starts, on social network. Somebody will post, I don't even really know anything about the social networks, but I see, you know, like nieces, nephews, and they just post this, and they'll post something back, and, you know, and then it will meet me at the park, you know.
Yeah, so, it's going down.
All of this is on social networks. So
I think the key is, as parents, you have to set boundaries. You have to see how much you're communicating. Some of these cell phone companies have apps for $5 a month. They can tell you how many minutes your kid is on every day, when you get pinged if it's after certain hours, and how many minutes they spend in a month. And it's got to be monitored and controlled. You got to have an eye on it. You know, they have to live, right? And the agent also said no geotagging, which is where your phone tells people exactly where you are. Okay. So if you're going to go out somewhere, that park you mentioned that your kids are getting together, they should never communicate where and how. Because then everybody knows it.
But they do, because they want everybody to meet them there so they can see the fight, or, you know.
Yeah, right. And I think the thing is, you know, again, some parents say, I don't want my kids on there. I respect that. I think that's great. I tried to fight that one. But I think, in a way, you've got to teach them on a very safe level and monitor it and control and be honest. You know, just try to have as much transparency with your kids as possible. And then yourself. I mean, the fears that you have about bullying, I think it's awareness. Kids need to know that they shouldn't engage in that kind of stuff. And if you start them young and you work with them and educate them, then they're much better as they grow up, and they can give their friends advice also. So,
talk a little bit more about LinkedIn. So, I have a LinkedIn profile. I also have a Facebook.
Yes.
I also have Instagram. You do too. Everybody can follow Dr. D. Honeycutt on Twitter. But she's going to be after tonight because she's got a great message to share. Just as there's a lot of negative, my dad always says that if Jesus Christ was alive today and he walked on water, the headline would be, "Unable to swim, Jesus walked on water." So it's true. There's a lot of negative out there. But if you've got a powerful message to share, you've got to use those tools that are free.
Well, what I'll tell you is this. I see social media, I know that there's a bad side to it, but I would have to say 90% to 95% of what I see is positive. It's empowering, it's educating, it's basically giving you a megaphone to broadcast your message for free to an audience that wants to hear it, because social media is permission-based. You know, the old days of sticking something in the mail and sending it to people that don't want to hear it, that's over. Right. People don't care, they throw it away. But to be able to listen to your message on Twitter, I have to follow you, all right? And so if I follow you, I'm welcoming your message. I've chosen to do that. It's the same with Facebook, LinkedIn, all of them, Instagram. If I don't want to hear your message, I'm not going to follow you. So your job is to kind of encourage people to follow you and engage. And that's how you start building a following. And the beauty of it is you're getting people listening to your message who want to hear it. And it's powerful. We've seen it in our company. We've had so many successes I can't even count anymore with just little stories, tidbits, people that we have a community now, a vibrant community of followers that send us pictures. I don't even have to go after sales managers and say, send me something. Daily, I get pictures from people on Instagram, Facebook, from all over the world. And let me put it this way. So let's say, as I said before, I sell jewelry.
I told you she's passionate about this.
Yes. And I have my audience. My audience might be more regional, okay? Not necessarily that they have to be, but they can be. But let's say I'm a pediatrician, and I have, so my age group would be more the parents, okay? So I'm thinking Facebook. I wouldn't be interested in so much Instagram, but maybe Twitter. So, because parents are on Twitter, they're on Facebook, they're on LinkedIn. Well, let's focus on LinkedIn and Facebook, okay? So let's just say I'm not selling a product, I'm selling advice. I see that every time a patient comes to me or my kids come to me, parents are getting so confused about whether this is a virus and doesn't need antibiotics or it's an infection and needs antibiotics. And I need to set this straight. So, and I have a lot of these cases. So let's say I decide to do a blog once a month. And from that blog, I post it on LinkedIn. There's a feature you can put that there, and Twitter and Facebook, I share it. It populates, and my client base realize that I'm doing this. So instead of me having to lecture them at every time they come in the office, I can say, go check out my blog, go to my Facebook page.
They're washing their hands
See
for
updates.
25 seconds like they're supposed to.
Yes.
Because you've told them.
Pyramid. It just
It
grows
is.
and grows.
Yeah.
So it's a way of helping me communicate with my people who want to listen to my message, and then benefit even those outside of that. Because what I want to share as a pediatrician doesn't just benefit my clients, or my patients, can benefit anyone anywhere in the world. So
And they share the message with somebody they think
share
will
the
be
message.
interested.
And
who
you'd
then
be
has the choice.
amazed at how quickly that can happen.
Can you ever deconnect? I mean, do you ever, because you were sharing that
Yes.
things get archived. And so, for example, if you Google Lisa McIntyre Shaw images, if you Google images, my sister-in-law Ellie also shows up. And there also are some pictures that, quite obviously are not moi.
Yeah, right.
And I'm just saying, but and every now and then I'm just shocked because I'm like, oh, wow, that was that picture from, wow.
Yeah.
Didn't know anybody tagged me in that. So there's some things you can do. Can you ever just evaporate once you're there?
Well, I have a few friends now that have deleted their Facebook page. They said, I'm done. I'm spending too much time there. I want to be with my kids. I don't want to be always checking Facebook. It's like an addiction for some people.
See, that's what I thought.
Well,
Yeah, but you want to be addicted to you and me.
Well-
they need our advice.
Well, yes, but
I guess it just depends. It's a matter of managing it, but yes, you can delete your Facebook page. You can delete posts. There are things you can hide and whatever. And if you want to step off everything, you can, but just be aware that the content is still out there.
Well, I have on my Facebook, thanks to my awesome brother Brent, I have it set up so that you cannot tag me
Yes.
unless I approve it.
well, I think Brent got me set up the same way.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, so
That's very smart. You can even set it up in such a way that people can't find you. You can only find them.
See, you like that.
You bring up a really good point. Even on LinkedIn, I know a lot of people complain, well, I get all these notifications. You can shut them all off. You don't have to get any
You
notifications.
stay connected, but turn off those notifications.
Yes, exactly. And that goes for a lot of the profiles. You can get as many notifications as you want, and you can also lock them down. Some you can be private, Instagram, Twitter. A lot of them you can be very private and not even found. So you can adjust that. A lot of people don't understand that when it comes to the privacy.
That's there.
But there are a lot of privacy settings, yes, available.
So if you were to break it down as the purpose of each one, what would be the number one purpose of Twitter,
Okay.
the number one purpose of Facebook,
Okay.
Instagram, and LinkedIn? Because
Right.
those four, I think,
Those are the key ones, yeah. For LinkedIn, it's building your community. It's connecting with people. Like, if we have not met until tonight,
right?
I would go home tonight or tomorrow morning and I'd put a request to you while it's fresh. If I'm a salesperson
Right.
and I call in an account and a customer, I would come back, connect to them. I would first of all research them the day before the meeting.
Sure.
So I learned a
do
little
that
about
a
their
lot.
background, as I did about you.
Yeah.
And then the next day I would connect with them once they've met me and know me. So there's a connection. So you're building a network. It's a great way for learning about companies, learning about people, like I said, more
Events.
research, events. So that's kind of the purpose. And I think everyone, I don't care if you're a college student, if you are a new grad, if you have been working 40 years, everybody should really be on LinkedIn. If
My
they
dad's on
want to-
LinkedIn.
Yeah, it's just great. It's a valuable tool, and over time people can endorse you. So that's another nice thing. It gives
Right.
credibility. It gives credibility to what you've done in your life and your career, and even if you're just got a little side business, you can get people to endorse you for that and things.
well, I feel good about LinkedIn. I mean, I
Absolutely.
really do, but
Absolutely.
But to Lisa's point, have a nice picture. One of my biggest pet
yeah.
peeves, is when people don't have a picture. And I tell them, how do I know it's you? There are 10 people with your name. I need to know it's you, and people connect with a picture.
Yeah.
So then I would move next to my favorite channel, which is Twitter, believe it or not. If you would want to just educate, learn, Twitter is the place to do it. you could think about people that are topics that would interest you and do some research. But what I love about it, it's 140 characters, so you don't have to spend a lot of time to get a lot of good information. And there's a link, so you can always add links to drive you to more content. I'd say after that, Facebook is excellent. You can do it personally. It's a great way to connect with friends, learn about what's happening in their lives personally and professionally. People post a lot of things. I feel like those LinkedIn groups have moved to Facebook now professionally.
Really?
There are a lot of excellent groups on Facebook, which you didn't really consider, but now that's where I invest some of my time. Instagram, it's a younger audience, and it's all photos. The photos are great because they're very vibrant, a lot of tagging, hashtagging. And just so you know, hashtagging pulls you into bigger conversations. So if I post something and I have 100 followers, those see it. But by adding a hashtag, anybody that does a search for that hashtag will see my content. So that's where hashtags
Like Panthers
are used.
Super Bowl 50.
You got it.
That's
Yes.
a hashtag.
I have one.
Yes.
Tell me about Snapchat. Was it Snapchat?
Yes.
Chat?
Yes.
And that really skews younger, doesn't it?
It does. It does.
Keith is all about that.
You know, it's all about posting and having it disappear. And there's some excitement to that.
But does it disappear?
No, people can grab it. People can grab it. So again,
Oh, no, it doesn't.
there be even recommendations that businesses start using it. And I said, I'm not going to invest my time in that. I mean, if it disappears, what value is
Right.
that?
But back to Instagram, I
Yes.
do have some that I love.
Yes.
The visual of
Yes.
Instagram. Nat Geo, National Geographic, does
Yes.
some amazing imagery.
Yes.
And like in your business, it would be an Instagram photo of what we're doing right now. And
Yes.
when this show is on,
Do I have Instagram?
I'm pretty sure you do. If I know,
You
Brother
know what a
Brent,
lot of
you've got
people do on Instagram too, because the challenge is, so let's say you're a company or a professional
That's
and you
right.
want to share advice, tips. 140 characters or less. You tweet them with a picture. You take that picture and you take that text and put it on top, so you can post it on Instagram and post it on Facebook. So people aren't just seeing the picture of whatever it is. There are free sites you can download pictures legally that you can use in marketing. And but you impose the words, the tip of the day or the week or whatever you're trying to share from your background. So that's a great way to communicate.
See, I love
and share.
that. A lot of people, picture's worth 1,000 words.
It is, and Twitter's even embraced that. So now when you tweet and have a picture, it automatically appears because they're trying to jump on the Facebook and
So if you
Instagram.
so I'm a knitter.
Yes.
And I had a fun experience. My friend told me I needed to learn how to knit, that it would be good for my soul.
Yes.
So I said, well, you need to teach me. She said, well, look it up on YouTube,
Yes.
which I did.
Yes.
And there's a knitting person, and I actually was in a knitting store, and she was there. And it was spectacular
Yeah.
to me.
Yes.
And it was spectacular to me, and she has, tens of thousands of followers. So I want that for Dr. D. Honeycutt, because you've got a powerful message, and I want the world to hear what the wisdom that you
So you
have
want
to
me to
share.
learn how to knit?
Not knit. don't knit. Just tweet. I just want you to tweet.
Well, here's the thing, and Lisa brings up a great point. So your knitter has a YouTube channel.
Yes.
I watched her this afternoon
Yep.
too. She's amazing.
She is.
A lot of followers. So she has that content. And I think people tend to think with social media, it's like so single. I have a YouTube channel. But the thing is, you have that video. You can tweet it. You can share it on Facebook. You can share it on LinkedIn. You can share it everywhere. And those other vehicles are just mechanisms to spread your content.
See?
So your content could be a blog, your content could be a YouTube video, but you use Twitter to share it. And not just once, but periodically. You can even schedule it out for weeks. Or, a couple times this week, in 2 weeks again, in a month again. And people can find it and link to it and watch it.
See?
Well, you know what?
You're going to be
Mind was
tweeting.
starting- I'm going to be tweeting. I'm going to be Instagramming.
I love it.
I'm going to be Facebooking.
Yeah.
And what else am I going to be doing?
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
You already
I'm
got that.
already LinkedIn.
You're already
I
LinkedIn.
go on and look at
Yeah.
everybody else.
So tell our audience what your Twitter is. Twitter handle.
It's Dr. D. Honeycutt.
There you go.
Twitter.
Dr. D. Honeycutt. That's how we can. Dr. D.
Connect
Honeycutt
with
at Gmail.
us. Yes, but our time is winding down, so we gotta ask some things that the viewers want to know. So what is the most important thing, you would like to tell the viewers about all the things that we have talked about tonight?
Okay, I would say don't be afraid of social media, embrace it. Be smart. Think about what you really want to share and share it. But also be mindful if you have children, pay attention to what they're doing, pay attention to what you're doing. But see it for what it is, a wonderful way to share the message you want to share or learn from others.
So if there's anybody out there that would like to reach you,
yes,
connect with you.
Yes, they can find me on LinkedIn under Gisela Clark.
I mean, why did I even ask you on everything?
I know. My preferred methods are Twitter. I'm Gisela_Clark, and LinkedIn, of course, and then also Instagram. So, but I think, like I said, Twitter's my favorite handle, and Twitter's a great handle for not knowing anybody and being able to reach out and connect. So.
Well, briefly again, tell the parents something very important that they need to know about monitoring for the children.
Okay, remember.
Just briefly.
Yeah, remember that you're the parent and you're in control, and you need to follow what your children are doing. Make sure that they know who they're connected to. Go through the list with them and say, tell me where you met that person, that person, that person. Really step in and teach them how to engage well, because social media is a part of our lives, whether we like it or not. And over time, it's only going to grow, and we need to, there are ways you can embrace it. Educate kids so they make good decisions, connect with the right people, and, can use it eventually one day maybe to help them get their next job.
And see, that's good, and we're on TV, but we got to keep it real. The kids, they're going to be like, you don't trust me. You don't trust me.
You know what? You got to say, this is important, but I think that you got to be the parent. It's not your job to be your kid's best friend. You've got to be the parent. This is a crucial time for them in their lives. You've got to teach them. You've got to monitor. Pick up their phone at the end of the day. Read what they're sharing. It can be very mindful, and then approach them about it in a very non-confrontational way and say, I love you, I care, and you just got to think about this, because what you post today could be there 20 years from now. So you got to make sure that they communicate in a way that they'll be proud of. What I always tell people, I know we're out of time, don't post something your mom wouldn't approve of. If you're in business, what your CEO wouldn't approve of. And that's with email, social media, whatever. Share things, but be mindful of who's reading it.
Well, that is our show tonight. You can email me, find me, Dr. D. Honeycutt at gmail.com. Twitter,
Dr. D. Honeycutt.
And LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Thank you for joining us. Have a good night.
That's amazing, a name worth praising. Your love leaves me gazing. It's incredible, the price that you pay, the sacrifice.